As an astrologer, there is something I would love to help us get clear on, and that's that the stars do not determine our personality. The positions of the planets are not what determines our personality in this life. Rather, what determines personality is spirit, soul, and body, but mostly the spirit. Everything is determined by the spirit. The more a person is aligned with their spirit, the more they are harmonious, happy. They create a pleasing personality because they're authentic, insightful, virtuous, holy even. And the more a person is unaligned with their spirit, the more they are mean, vile, ungrateful, vicious, full of vices, and unable to actually see the way in which they can get along with other people because they are in fear. And because they're in fear, they're in survival mode. And so because they can't see, then they literally can't help but be mean and ruthless to other people. So personality is a conglomeration of these different elements of the spirit, the soul, and the body. Personality is basically a coping mechanism made up of influences from our genetics, from our biology, from our environment, our conditioning, how we were raised, society, and all these different ingredients serve to kind of mold the personality. So this is how the personality is shaped, but the personality is determined and mainly controlled by a person's spirit. This in astrology is related to the sun sign. And so when we look at a person's birth chart, we're looking at a reflection or a map of where all the planets were at the time of a person's birth. Now, stick with me if you're a skeptic. The positions of the planets, the 7 visible planets, are reflecting the 7 qualities of a person's soul. Yes, which are connected to the 7 vices and the 7 virtues, as well as the 7 endocrine glands, the 7 chakras. This unique configuration of planets at the time of your birth are reflecting the unique characteristics of personality that you are born with. Or rather, I should just stick it with characteristics. These are unique, innate character traits, which can then be developed and cultivated, encouraged to find expression in this lifetime, or discouraged and suppressed. And the ways in which each of these qualities get along or clash is represented by the red lines and the blue lines in the chart, the geometrical aspects which the planets are making to each other. So if this is still hard to grasp, like why would that reflect our innate character? It's just this idea that ancient astrology holds, which is that each part of the sky through the ecliptic, which is the belt through which the sun, moon, and planets all move, each section of the heavens has a unique vibration to it, because everything is vibration or frequency in this life, depending on where the planetary bodies, where the heavenly bodies are and emanating their energy or their light through. This is sort of modifying the program of the soul that's coming into incarnation. If we just look at the sun, when the sun is in a certain section of the heavens, there is a particular quality of the seasonal energies that are manifested. And so the ancients found that certain planets like being in certain sections of the sky more than others. They were able to map out which sections the planets were strongest in their energies and which one they're weakest in. And this gives us the zodiac. Now, if we look at this division of 12, this has since ancient times been the number of order. It's considered the number of order. We have 12 cranial nerves, 12 musical notes, 12 hues on the color wheel, 12 months, 12 hours, 12 disciples of Christ, 12 knights of the round table, 12 labors of Hercules, 12 years in a cycle of Jupiter, which is the brightest of the wandering stars, named King of the Gods, or Zeus. 12 is the number of order, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 petals in the Anahata, which is the heart chakra, 12 sun. And I think, by the way, that's important because everything issues out from the heart. The heart is the source of life. It's the first place in the body to form, and it's the last place in the body to die. 12 sons of the chief Norse god, Odin, 12 jurors in a jury, 12 grades in school, 12 inches in a foot, 12 Olympians. And I just don't think that this is a coincidence that there are 12 notes on the chromatic scale, 12 colors, 12 cranial nerves, and 12 main signs of the zodiac. So in our spiritual contemplation and understanding, we find that the one splits into 2, and from unity we have duality, yin and yang, male and female, hot and cold, left and right, and all division splits from this central source. That central source is your spirit. It is the wholeness of you. And from here, we split into soul. And the soul has an ebb and a flow. The soul is affected by the world of emotion. Someone who is very soulish is very emotional. They're very easily moved, and they're able to move others very powerfully. And so without the light of the spirit, the soul can take on accumulations, from the experience of the world of matter, be they good or bad. They could be traumas and deep wounds, or they could be revelations and insights from lessons and experience. But this yin and yang within the soul also has a subdivision to it, which the yang splits into air and fire, and the yin splits into earth and water. And this gives us the classical 4-element system that we have in astrology. Every sign is one of these elements, and we have 3 signs per each element. So 3 times 4, that gives us 12 in all. And in medieval alchemy, these elements were thought to be connected to these other qualities of hot, dry, cold, and wet, where there are 2 possible thermal states and 2 states of humidity. So these 4 states, they each have an opposite, but they could combine to make all of the material substance in the known physical universe. And the maxim as within, so without is where we apply this here, this understanding that these 4 elements in physical matter are also elements of the psyche within us. So we can have fiery qualities of personality, or airy qualities, or watery, or earthy. This language is something that we innately and intuitively understand. If somebody's fiery, we know that that means that they're sparky, they bring stuff to light, they're energetic, daring, bold, maybe loud, maybe they're a bit destructive like fire. So this is what astrology is mapping out here, is that there are different qualities of being, these soul qualities that really come from our spirit, which is one with God. And the more we're aligned with that, with the truth of ourselves, the more we come into what we call authenticity. And behind authenticity is actual strength of personality, strength of character, because it has integrity and it's held together strongly by these qualities of spirit, which are known as virtues. So in short, our personality is conditioned by a wide variety of different things, how your parents taught you to be, what the society you grew up in is like, but the personality is determined by your spirit, or rather your capacity to open up to your spirit, to open your soul to receive the light of your spirit, which comes from God, which was created by God. And it's the part of you which was made in the image of God. And this can trickle down and influence both your soul, your emotional body, and your physical body, so that you are a physical manifestation, an expression of the light of God, so that whoever has seen the son or the daughter has seen the Father. There's a lot more to this here. There's also the 3 modes. There's cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And then each element is one of those 3. So that gives us 12 unique energy signatures or rates of vibration, which have to do with these 12 main distinct unique types. And then those recombine all together to create a multitude of unique personalities. And it is such a miracle that God has created here in this system for there to be all these people here on this planet, and every single one is unique. And that's because God created all of our spirits to be totally unique. So this belief that astrology has this view that our personalities are determined by the stars, that's not quite it. And it goes a lot deeper than that, because personality is something that is subject to change. Your personality today could be totally different tomorrow, because the personality is a mask. Even the word persona comes from a word meaning mask. Our personality is just something that we wear in order to give expression to the soul. And the more that the soul has opened up to your spirit, that is what we call authenticity. When our personality is used as a tool for the purposes of our spirit, and then we align with the authentic expression, I think that's when we begin to step into fulfillment. But that often requires shining a light in some very dark places. I love you so much. I hope this was helpful. Hit the link in my description here to get a free gift on how to read your birth chart. I hope it's helpful. I love you. Join my Patreon if you want to join my astrology school. There's classes every week, and I will see you very soon. Peace.